What's up guys, it's Bench175 and this is going to be a review of the Mantis X10 Elite shooting performance system. For those unfamiliar, this system is basically a very smart sensor that goes onto your pistol, so it can attach in a bunch of different ways. And what it does is when you're dry fire shooting or live fire shooting, the X10 Elite sends information from the sensor to your smartphone via Bluetooth. And it records basically every single very small movement that goes on with your pistol while you're shooting. First I'll go ahead and show you what comes in the box, and then after that we'll go into the app and you can see all the different kinds of ways that you can use the X10 Elite. First thing you'll find is this quick start guide that tells you essentially to download the Mantis X app, which is free on the phone. The system itself comes in at around $250, and then you attach the Mantis X, open up the app, follow the instructions. You'll also find this little carrying case. This is the spot where the Mantis X10 was. Here was a barrel adapter, some shims. Well, let's just go ahead and get into that barrel adapter. So it's not meant to go on a revolver. I was just trying this out earlier. But this is supposed to go onto a shotgun barrel. And what you do is you put those shims, so different size shims here, inside of this adapter, and then you can hook on the Mantis X10 and use it for shotguns. I couldn't quite get it to work on this revolver, and I'm guessing it's because it's not very well attached, so you can see it just kind of came out. Here we also have this is the universal adapter here, so you can just imagine, take off that sticky, put this piece of Picatinny rail on any flat surface that you have on your firearm. For example, if your pistol doesn't have a Picatinny rail like this one, you can put that sticky on the bottom of the magazine and it'll work just the same as on the Picatinny rail. This little baggie also has a hex key to screw in these screws into the barrel adapter. So it comes with a set of short screws that are in there now, and then these long screws. You'll also have a charging cable. The X10 Elite will last, it says, about 12 hours on a charge. And the last thing will be a cleaning wipe, and then this is the bag that the Picatinny rail universal came in, as well as a screw in there, I guess, to tighten down that rail if you can. Here's a closer look at the sensor that came with the X10 package. So there are also cheaper X2 and X3 packages that I believe come with this same sensor, but the software is going to be different. That's going to let you have the most features with the X10. Let's go ahead and connect it. So all you do is you slide it onto the rail. You pull this spring-loaded, let me go ahead and show you that wedge shape that goes into the rail section. You pull this down, find a slot, let it click in. So there you are, clicked in. It's nice and stable. And then this is the power button. You're just going to hold that down until you get a green flashing. Now that you're flashing, you're ready to connect. So set the gun down on a stable surface. On the phone app, you're going to go to train. So the first time is going to show you this connect. Hit connect. And now you're ready to go to the train. And you can see all the different modules that are available. So these are the ones special to the X10. Holster draw analysis, which in a few words records every single step as you draw from holster, and it lets you analyze each of those in numbers. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So here I have one analysis that was 3 shots. It gives you the date, time, and you can make notes. So this was with the P10F, and I noted that my arms were started at relaxed at sides. And then if you touch that, it breaks down the steps, the time it took you to form your grip, the time it took you from your stable grip to start to pull. Mine were all 0, so I guess that means that I was very quick after getting stable to pull, and I didn't like mess around with the holster. The time it took you to take the gun horizontal, to find stability on the target, and then the time that you took to take that shot. So this first column right here is averages, and then these are some totals. Here's another module, the big feature of the X10, the Recoil Meter. Live fire only. This drill is live fire only. Okay, so in order to enter it, you just go to settings, click live, go back to train, and then go back to Recoil Meter, and this is for managing recoil effectively. This is an open training style drill. Take any number of shots to view and compare the recoil patterns and recovery times of each shot. So this is a part that no other system that I know of does, which is give you very objective data during recoil. So let's go ahead and look at the history for some of my recoil meter measurements. In each group of shots you can add notes. So for example, I put that I was using my MR920 here, my CZP10F here, my Canik SFX here, and then you can use those notes and filter your history. So I can go to filter by note, I can put in P10F, it says there's 4 matches, so I can go back, and then let's just go ahead and look at this first one. It mentions the date, a timestamp, that this was live fire, and then the note that you put in. By the way, it'd be great if Mantis could make this history page of the app include averages of some of the metrics, or at least the recovery time and the average muzzle rise averages right next to this live line, so that way you can easily compare one pistol to another. So this is a note I entered myself. Let's go ahead and click into this and I can show you more of what you get recorded. Right now it's highlighting shot number 5. Let's go ahead and jump back to the first shot in this group, and if you look over here on the right, it gives you the metrics for that first shot. So it gives you the recovery time, which is the time that it takes after your shot to return back to your point of aim, the muzzle rise in degrees, the recoil width. So actually, and if you click into each of these, it gives you the average down here at the bottom left for your whole group. So this one shot was 1.34. The average for the whole group was 1.07. So for this shot, my muzzle rise was 40.35. My group average was 40.2. And then recovery width, so that is the width of your recoil path, and then your recoil angle, which is basically an average angle that your gun decided to go when you recoiled, and it's negative because it measures the vertical as 0. So you were about 14 degrees, or I was about 14 degrees to the left with that. And as you can see, all of these took a very similar path, because which is, as we know, when you're not doing a good job controlling recoil with your support hand, your gun is going to go up and to the left, and that's what happened on all of these shots. And then as I go into each different shot, you can see the different recoil angles and the different muzzle rises for each shot. So very cool. Before I get any farther into the review, I'll just give you the bottom line, that if you're a data junkie where you like to make charts and try and figure out what's the best in every category, you're going to need the Mantis X10 to give you objective data. So for example, if you want to test out different grips on your pistol, say like a high left hand or a lower left hand, if you want to try different grip pressure points, like you want to do a squeezing grip versus a pulling with the left hand grip, if you want to try different back straps and find out what they do. So for example, on my MR920, it comes with a flat back strap, and I have some measurements already for that, but in another video I'm going to change out to the Glock angle back strap that is a lot steeper, which forces you to lock down your wrist. So now I'm going to get some recoil measurements on that different back strap. You can see the difference when you add a grip tape. So you can see different muzzle devices. So that's why I brought this out here. Obviously you're going to have a Picatinny rail up here, so you can just slide the sensor on here, and you can change the muzzle brakes to see how they affect the recoil. So there's basically an endless supply of data that you can get with the Mantis X, and you can figure out what really works for you. Another awesome thing about the recoil meter is you can take yourself out of the shooting equation, and then you can totally focus on the ammo. If you bench rest your pistol, you can go ahead and compare different ammo. For example, the 115 we all shoot, or you can see the difference between 124 grain in your hands or 147 grain, and you can see how all of those compare when you bench rest your pistol or your rifle. Let's take a look at what the open training module gives you. This tool is really great for first time or beginner shooters. So if you consider yourself a beginner shooter, this is going to give you a lot of great advice. So for example, if I touch on that red bar, they give you demonstrations of what you might be doing wrong and what it should look like when you're doing it right, along with whole paragraphs and even alternative things that you might be doing wrong. It actually breaks down the hold movement in blue, which is as you're just holding the gun on target, and then the yellow that you're going to see in these other graphs is as you're pressing the trigger. So I'm going to keep swiping. For example, this shot was at 98.2, and when you click play, it maps out what was going on when you were holding the gun. The yellow was what happened as you pressed the trigger, and as you can see, I kept it all in that tiny little dot. And then the X is when the shot broke, and then the red is the path of the recoil. And then on that first page, it gives you the score for every shot, and that is the score that is while you're pulling the trigger, and then the time it took you to make that shot. Let me go ahead and give you a demo of the open training drill, and then we'll go into more of the modules that are available on the app. So I'm going to click open training. I already showed you how to connect it. Here in open training, you get to take as long as you want. It's all about precision and accuracy. Another aspect that I didn't really mention, I forgot to mention, is because we're dealing with the movement of the gun as we pull the trigger only, we get to take another part of the equation of accuracy out, and that's the ammo, right? And I don't know about you, but I'm always shooting the cheapest ammo I can find. When you're doing that, another part that's affecting your accuracy is actually each round, how consistent they are from round to round. So this takes ammo out of the equation and completely focuses on how good you are at the fundamentals of trigger pull. Okay, so here are the settings. We have dry fire, right-handed shooting, and then the sensor is mounted in the forward position. So yeah, that matches the picture. Last step is going to be just click start. Obviously you're going to want to make sure that your firearm is empty. I've already emptied all these, and as you can see, I put a snap cap in there. So I'm going to go ahead and point this up at this target. We can go down. That was at 88, so not that great. You can do a partial reset or a partial slide manipulation to just reset the trigger. Okay, 87.7. Oh, I racked it too hard, so I knocked that. Okay, that one was a little bit better, 94.8. And these are not, so the numbers, as I said, you want them basically around 90 or more, which means you're doing good shooting. Sometimes even when you're hitting where you want in live fire, it will be so sensitive that it'll give you a score like in the 70s. So this thing is super sensitive, okay? Let's go ahead and take a look at some of our results. So stop. Hey, this kind of looks like my last one where it had some bars down here at the bottom that said I was pushing forward. So maybe this is something that I really do have to work on. And then this other bar said another thing I might have done was tightening my fingers. And you can read all the advice that it has for you, and then go ahead and look at some of the data. If you ever forget what a graph is, there's a little question mark. It tells you exactly what's going on in each chart. And then some of the shots I just took. So I moved a little bit on that one. If you want to use the holster draw analysis and you want the sensor to be on your pick rail, then you're going to need something like a light adapted holster. So for example, this is the one that I use on my MR920. As you can see, it fits the TLR8, but it's also going to fit, so if I had put this on the MR920, it's going to perfectly fit with the sensor inside of that little spot. The other option, like I said before, is you get one of these universal mounts, which is just like a Picatinny on a sticky, and then you can peel that off and put it on the base of your magazine, and that's going to record all the movement without having to have a light holster. You can just use a regular holster. All that the sensor is doing is just recording the angle of the body of the sensor, so it doesn't really matter whether it's at the front and it's recording that recoil, or just imagine, translate this to the bottom. It's going to be the same angle no matter where the position is on your pistol. If you like comparing stuff with objective data, this is pretty much the only way that I know how to do it. Some of the other drills available are a shot timer, which is kind of weird. It only has been letting me record one shot, but there's another drill down here, the hostage taker drill, where it's pretty much a shot timer because it records from the time where you the buzzer goes off to when you fire the shot. So you can read that right there. That's really fun. We have basic benchmark, timed benchmark, compressed surprise break. It's all about doing a quick trigger press as soon as the beeper goes off. Primary hand shooting, support hand shooting, reload drills, cadence drills that help you shoot on a certain cadence. Well, so the cadences of half second, second, 2 seconds. And then it actually has courses available too. I showed you the history, so this is really cool. It basically records everything you do on the app. For example, one thing I learned when I was shooting the P10F using a firm grip is that under recoil, the gun goes, instead of how I showed you before where the gun goes up and to the left, during my grip it goes up and to the right a lot, as you can see from shot to shot. So I think what's going on is I'm putting too much torquing pressure with my left hand, and so that's something that I'm going to change up, and I can see how that improves. There's a part of the app where you can create groups, so you can compare your data to your friend's data. If you have the Mantis X10, go ahead and leave me your username and we can group up. There's mine, Bench175. Here are the settings. A lot of these settings, if they're really important, are at the beginning of each training module, so you don't have to go to this page every time. And then, oh yeah, a whole instruction guide right here in case you want, like, word for word exactly what you need to do for each step of using the sensor and using the app. One nice thing about the app is that a lot of the training modules have this little link that says see instruction video, where when you click onto that, you can play this YouTube video where it'll tell you exactly how to do the drill. And for some of the drills that don't have it, I found that guy John Correa, which he has a really good channel called Active Self Protection. In his extra channel, he is sponsored by Mantis X, so he goes into detail on how to do the training modules. I forgot to mention earlier that there are a few other ways that you can attach the Mantis to your pistol. So for example, Mantis sells these mag rails that are magazine floor plates that have built-in Picatinny rails so that you can just attach the sensor, and they sell them for many different models of pistols. And then they also have some other types of adapters that you'll have to check out on their website. Okay, next I'll just talk about some of the few things that need work on the Mantis X10 in my opinion. Very rarely the Mantis X10 sensor will like kind of glitch. If that does happen, all you have to do is you click onto that one shot and then you trash it. And you can even delete shots if, for example, you're recording data while you're doing accuracy testing, and this will tell you if there's an outlier where you did a really bad trigger press. That way when you see that shot, you know to exclude it. The only other things that could use some improvement are some aspects of the app and the website. So for example, with the holster draw analysis, when you click into that, it breaks down all the different parts of your draw, right? But then I don't see any way where you can actually see the score that you got on when you broke the trigger. However, they do have it on the website. So if you go to train.mantisx.com, it will give you scores, and then it'll give you like a diagnosis of some things that you could potentially work on. So that's kind of weird that it doesn't have it in the app, but it does have it in the website. One other aspect is in the website, it doesn't include, let's go back, these little notes that you can put into the app. So for example, I put in this note that I was shooting with the P10F. However, nothing on the website shows P10F, so I can't find it by name. What you actually have to do is you have to match up the timestamp. This was December 17th at 4:54. The only way that I can find this on the website is go to December 17th, 4:54, and then click on that. And then I can see all the data that's in the app on the website. So it would be nice if you could use the website standalone, like without having to use your phone as well, and just use everything on here, which is a bit more convenient, but so that's just something that could use some work. But beside those few things, this thing is a really great system. Really excited to keep using it in the future and making more YouTube videos using it. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments and I'll get back to you. If you liked the video, like, subscribe, and share, and then I'll talk to you guys next time. And come back for more videos. Alright, later.